6 right now.
Gonna rock it now, gonna rock it now by Jackson Aurelia, Jackson Aurelia, gonna rock it now, gonna rock it now, rock it, Jackson Aurelia, T-Force.
Welcome to the rework of the T-Force, now we going hard cause we bumping at the beat source. It's a 3-course dinner of dudes bringing the news and stats, interviews and casts from the pro scene. So fresh and so clean, like you're leaning with Nami in the bot lane. Keep it hot like brand, practicing his dot game, give it to you easy like you're Resi in a bot game. Imagine Draven at prime time, now ulti like LeBlanc can copy that 4 times, but manlier, knock it up like now fight planning a family-er. You gotta be tuned in like Sona on the ad wall, get on the chat call, can our podcast really be all that? Of course, how do 4 guys make a Triforce?
Hey guys, welcome to episode number 186 of the Trinity Force Podcast, sponsored by Pocket Aces Backpacks, the only backpack that you need for college. Everybody in this call right now, to Claude.
Yes.
Chira.
Hi.
And Dom.
I really just slid into home there, didn't I?
You did. You slid into home with a smile on your face. You know what else would bring a smile on your face is if you went to bit.ly/T-Force bag and purchase yourself one of these. Look, it's all apart. There's zippers everywhere. You guys have heard about this for 3 weeks now. There's probably not much more I can say about this bag than I already did. But this is your end-all, be-all bag if you're going to college, or you're going to high school, or you're studying abroad, whatever it may be, where you feel like you need extra. Really, the big thing here is the extra power strip. Yeah, you could do it at work. Like, if you're in a cube farm, but you only have one outlet, and you need to charge everything, which does happen, this definitely can be used for work. So if you buy this backpack, it's $119. It comes with the power strip, comes with a charger of your choice, cell phone charger, that actually feeds into the bag in here. It's got a giant area where you can stick all your stuff. It comes with a portable cell phone charger, so if you run out of spaces because everybody is trying to get in on your awesome bag, you can charge your cell phone with your portable cell phone charger.
I can't say it enough. Those things are so great.
Mm-hmm. And it also comes with an American flag water bottle and an umbrella, because honestly, I don't know how many times I walked to class when I was going to college, and I did not have an umbrella, and I'm like sprinting.
I still don't have an umbrella.
I do now. But yeah, guys, go to bit.ly/T-Force bag, check out the Pocket Aces backpack, and use this code BACK2SCHOOL. You guys can get that for $119. America, sorry, it's America only, because he is from Indiana. That's where it's going to be shipping out of. So depending where you're located there, that's how quickly you'll get it, really. Guys, go ahead and toss that in the Twitch chat for me as we move on. The great group of guys are here. I've already introduced every single one of them. We are going to talk about patch 4.14 tonight. None more of this 3.14 screwing me up with the name and everything. I can't get this one wrong.
Well,
it's
you.
You know what?
It's
your
you.
dyslexia. It's perfect.
41.4. Guys, welcome to the patch 41.4. Aurelia has been removed from the game.
Too OP.
Didn't you have
such OP?
Didn't you have a 1v1 with Optimus Tom?
I toted the 1v1, and what happened was I got cocky, and I lost.
You did
to the very end.
Disappointment.
I was.
Well, you know what?
I'm not going to spoil it, though. I'm not going to spoil how fun it was.
We should talk about this.
If you want to know how the epic Optimus, Tom, Adam almost killing each other multiple times and living with 10 HP like 3 times goes, go check out the video. It should be on YouTube, right?
Yep, youtube.com/T-Force.
Now, you know what? Forget Wheaties, all right? Tom proved that rocks are the breakfast of champions, because he ate rocks and you didn't know whether to cry or laugh when he beat you.
There you go.
I didn't mess it up. I rehearsed it all the drive home.
I am the Kale Sonnen of League of Legends, where I will just talk shit for days and do well in the ring, but eventually lose.
And then get smashed because you do something silly.
That last
fight you should have had.
Claude, Chira, Wrecker, and I were all sitting in a call watching this game and everything. And I'm the worst on these things because I'm the guy who gets super loud anytime anything like Not monumental, like anything like remotely.
How was the very first game with Quinn and Varys?
Dude, I was screaming so loud, I was freaking out. I couldn't believe
The Mals when I was
when
there.
I fucked up my ult too.
The epic Varys Q miss on a non-moving target was the best part.
Oh, Tom,
ever.
yeah.
Or the multiple times that you started out buying just one potion when you could have purchased 2.
I don't play enough
Like-
mid-laters.
They're like, is that his strategy? Is he just cheesing? And then
Yeah.
Record sends you the little message, and then all of a sudden, bloop, we see 2 go.
Mitch and Siva did a good job casting it. It was funny how often, like, they did really good analysis, and they went so far as to look at runes and all that type of stuff, and they would say, like, I wonder what Pwn is thinking here, running all this stuff when he's going up against this matchup. And in the call, we're just like, yeah, he's thinking, I didn't prepare for this one-on-one at all, so these are the runes I have, and they're what I'm going to use.
I didn't care. I mean, I picked Poppy in game 2.
That would have been so.
You said you were going to do it.
Yeah, I would have killed her if I would have knocked her into the wall. She was probably like a half a Teemo away from going that wall. I just misjudged the
you
distance.
Emo.
Because
I
never
misjudged
played
the
Poppy.
distance on that one. No, it
was
was Ruina. Went down to game 5, and game 5 was a lot of fun. While I was playing it, I definitely knew how to win, but my pride got the best of me, and I just wanted to stay in, and I ended up losing to Optimus Tom. So congratulations to him. I was humble when we lost. I wasn't like making excuses and shit. I lost the game fair and square, so. Which isn't like me, I guess.
we're going to do more stuff like that.
We are going to do more 1v1s. Actually, next Monday. So you guys get this podcast on Friday. That following Monday, it is going to be Chira Jaden and Tom Meringue for a 1v1 for
place.
third place.
All right.
Out of the top
Nice.
lane. And then moving forward, right now, the tentative date is the second weekend of September. We are going to do a 5v5 LCS rundown versus Trinity Force Podcast
Ultimate Bravery?
Ultimate Bravery.
Yeah.
I like to hear that.
When are we doing this?
Second week of September.
Okay,
Okay.
good. That's much
We haven't
better
done
than
that in
the first.
forever.
Right. We are going to try to do more of these going forward, whether 1v1s. We're not going to do any 2v2s. Maybe 1v1s or 5v5s. We might do some 3v3s for funs too. But at least once a month, we're going to try to do something for you guys. I am moving forward. I know a lot of you guys call for us to stream after the podcast or to stream more often, and we're trying to work some kind of streaming schedule that's not just Battle Arena. And speaking of Battle Arena, guys, don't forget to go check those out. I have a giant group. I think I have 8 guys doing Battle Arena right now. You can find the Oceanic Battle Arena, the NA Battle Arena, and the EU West Battle Arena all on Tuesday, Thursdays, and like Sunday or / Monday morning. So I don't know Aussie times. I don't actually know what time it goes live, but you guys can always go check that out on T-Force Podcast. Join the in-game chat channel T-Force. We're going to move on to the next couple pieces here, then talk about patch 4.14. I'm actually kind of dragging my feet through the news today a little more because the patch doesn't really have a lot to talk about. So donations, if you guys want to donate to the podcast, we haven't talked about this in a while. You can donate in 2 ways. One is you can donate money to us. And you know who donated money? Chad did. Chad gave us $50. So thank you.
Boom.
Thank you, Chad.
Tons.
Chad, you're our
the
hero.
best.
We accept all donations, guys. You can find it at the bottom of the Twitch channel. You can also find it on tforce.trinityforcepodcast.com. There is a button. A second way you can donate, go to iTunes and rate us. We've been stuck at 213 for a month and a half now.
It's because we stopped talking about
I don't,
rating
people
us.
aren't using Apple products anymore.
Go
I
to
don't believe
Stitcher.
that.
Go to AHA
There you
Radio. Go to
Stitcher.
wherever. Go. There we are on. I think we're on almost every single podcast platform at this point. And if we're not, email us and we'll get you on your favorite We'll get the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. End of the show, you'll hear the email address. Email us and let us know. I will get it on there. No questions asked. So you can do that. Check out the Journey to 30 as well. Twitch.tv/T-Force Podcast every Wednesday at 7 p.m. We talk about it during the show. Badger and Restoration are doing a fantastic job of helping you guys move forward in League of Legends and really learn how to do...
Snaggle.
I've definitely
Oh, right,
Snagglewolf.
Snagglewolf.
I've definitely heard some good things coming from everybody that's gone to watch it. And I know a lot of people who've been sending their friends that are just starting to get into League over to Journey to 30 to give them kind of a...
It's what League needed right now. Like, there were some people who made some very basic tutorials, but there was nobody who made tutorials of how do you play mid lane, okay? Now that I've learned how to play mid lane, how do I trade properly? And they're going to start working on, after they get do the overall point of the game, they're going to start working on how to trade specifically in mid lane. How do you specifically trade in top lane? How do you specifically play these type of supports? Like, they're going to start to specialize, but right now it's just to get you into the game. So there is an email address. I think it's battlearena@trinityforcepodcast.com for that right now. But that is it. So I think that is all the news for this week. Did I miss anything? Doesn't look like it.
Unless you want to talk about the store
Bronze
or
boot
whatever,
camp.
but no, yeah, you got everything.
It's
Yeah,
part of the battle arena.
store.trinityforcepodcast.com to get a t-shirt. Guys, in October, there is a Columbus meetup. Columbus, Ohio, October, the World of Weekend.
Weekend of Worlds.
Worlds.
World of Weekends in Columbus,
Get your Trinity Force Podcast swag. Everybody's going to be there that is part of Trinity Force Podcast is going to be wearing a Trinity Force shirt. I got you taken care of, Sean. Everybody there is going to be wearing a Trinity Force shirt.
Thanks, buddy.
And we're going to figure out the dates within the next couple weeks. We'll figure out the date, the time, and the place. I'm going to talk to Sean about it, and we're all going to meet there. I know that our friends, Urtai and Punch, are going to be there as well. Wrecker's going to be there. Chira's going to be there. I'm going to be there. And
I might be there.
And Dom has said he might show up. And
shit.
We're all going to get together and just have this awesome time at a bar. And then, I mean, I don't know. We're just going to have fun. And we're going to hopefully watch the games and be
We
stupid.
should
and just whatever.
probably be of drinking age.
Yes,
Yeah,
please
that'd be
be
a good
21.
idea.
It's a bar.
It's going to be at a bar.
Just
So. I wish I
throwing
could
that
go.
out there.
I know.
Sounds fun.
But
Maybe
Cinder's
I could
coming
join
soon.
virtually. She is. I'm going to have to bring her and her
He
T-Force
gets a little
onesie.
smile even when he brings her up right now.
I'm
What a
excited.
dad.
He's a
What
proud papa.
dad.
I am, and I can't wait to reuse the dad jokes that I have been torturing my son with. So.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to patch 4.14. This is it seems like a very minor patch than what we've been used to recently. We've seen very large patches over the past couple months where there's just been sweeping changes. And
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. You know, when 4.13 came out, they said this is going to be the last big balance chance patch for Worlds, and anything that comes up after that was going to be just very small to, tune as a result of the fallout from 4.13, and that's very much the sense you get from everything going on in here.
We're going to skip Gnar, though, because he's not released yet.
He not
We'll
out.
talk about him after.
He's adorable. Adam has some crazy theories about how you play him and everything, but we don't know.
I know.
That's for another episode.
Well, just kind of mention him. If you guys haven't looked at Gnar and seen what he can do, he's really unique in
Check it
that
out.
his passive turns him into a whole new creature with a whole new set of abilities. So think Nidalee, but you have no control over when Nidalee goes into her cat form.
Nidalee with Rumble's overheat.
Yeah.
Pretty much it.
I know.
Yeah.
Nidalee, Elise, Jace, they have a second form.
I'm sure you manage the bar like you manage Rumble, pretty much.
Yeah, you
Sort
have
of.
to, you have to let it. Well, no,
That's the closest champion so far. that
Yeah,
they have.
yeah.
it doesn't go up and down as easily though.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't go down.
Yeah, it doesn't
It
go
only
down.
goes up until it hits Mega Gnar, then it goes down.
Right.
So
yeah, I think I have
Timing.
I have some crazy ideas on how I think he's going to be played. I know if you watch the patch preview, the champion spotlight for him, they said he's going to be played out of the top lane. I don't think he will be. I think he's going to be played out of mid, but that's just
He
because
thinks
I
he's
think
going to
the
be a
burst.
support. You crazy monster.
And I think he's going to be support, and then you have to go when he hits Mega Gnar. You just have to. Like, you have to all in.
You're all in. Level 1, all in.
Sorry, you hit Mega
Gnar,
Gnar.
all in. Gotta go. Gotta do it.
You know what?
I'm not really impressed, but I have a feeling he's going to grow on me.
I'm sure he will grow quite a bit. All right, well, let's talk about some of the changes in this patch. Corki just says soon. I don't know what the hell that means, but
It's
None of us
ominous. Soon.
wait,
I mean,
wait,
Worlds is coming. Worlds is coming, so it means
Yep,
they're
so they gotta-
probably going to do something to that champ.
Well, that's probably all it is, though. It's probably Corki soon. Here comes Worlds. We're gonna see Corki at Worlds.
Yeah. Maybe that means Trinity Force something.
It's back to 3 gold buy. Yes, please make Kog'Maw more powerful. Gragas's body slam has had a change. Gragas now always travels the full distance in the direction of the cast, but it still stops
So you
when the
don't
first
screw it
target he hits. It's a big buff. That's a big change to Gragas.
It's kind of like the Olaf axe change. You could throw it at your feet before. You can kind of accidentally body slam nowhere. So
Yeah, but this one is great because you can't just accidentally throw it at your feet. You
Right.
have to go the full distance through.
That's what I mean.
If
That's
you
why.
miss everything, and what makes that great is you can't screw it up now. The only way you screw it up is if you misalign it and you miss the skill shot.
And that was just it. Like, I didn't play Gragas that frequently, so I was the type of person who would forget you got to decide how far he traveled with it, and would always be disappointed when I only went, a little bit in front of me, expecting to go a much greater distance. So I appreciate this change. I don't know what Gragas main type players are going to really think of it. It seems like a quality of life type of thing, but what do I know? Good
Yeah,
days on here.
pretty
She
much what it
plays. She plays
Well,
Gragas.
you can't be upset with the change like that because as long as it stops on the first target it hits and it's not
It's
having reduced
essentially
damage.
the same.
Yeah, it's essentially the same spell.
It's the same thing.
You just can't hit E with your cursor next to your body and stop there. Now you can hit E with a cursor next to your body if you're trying to keep your cursor over somebody and you're still going to go in the direction that you moved your cursor.
Makes it a little bit easier to micro his
I mean-
abilities, that's all.
I can think of situations where you would want to be able to control it, but you're getting to some really crazy shit, and then you have to wonder if you're even using the ability in the most ideal way possible at that point.
Right.
And if anything, this helps in a defensive sense that when you're trying to get away, no matter what, you're going to be going max
Right,
distance
right.
as
When
long
you're
as you don't hit
panicking.
anything. Yeah, you can't accidentally screw up and barely move.
Right.
So
Well, when a fat man throws his belly forward, you'd expect him to keep going.
You got the momentum, yep.
They made a change to Kassadin as well. Rift Walk now has a 20-second cooldown from 12. It's funny. This champion, no matter what they do to him, he's either viable or he's not viable. Like there is no good in between for him. Like the way I look at this though, with his Rift Walk, is that it makes laning easier against him. Now he can't just recklessly use his R like he could before with the 12-second cooldown, but it also hampers him going into late and mid game when he's team fighting. And that's probably what this probably actually means is now he's going to build his own bruiser.
well,
No,
there's
I think the intent behind this is it affects the time it takes for the damage and mana cost stacking to cool down.
Right, but
Not the actual ability to cast not your actual opportunity to cast the ability.
No, it's 20 seconds. It was a 12-second cooldown.
Okay, they say they want his super mobility is his iconic strength, but they want you to think about when you use it, so they just change the total. I mean, if you read it, it says Rift Walk. It sounded more like Rift Sprint because of how often you could use it. So they up the cooldown so you can't use it as often.
Yeah, you have to use it and stay in at this point.
Yeah.
And that's
Now-
why I think we're going to see more Trinity Force Kassadins.
Another piece of this too is this actually makes Kassadin much easier to gank if he ever uses Rift Walk offensively and gets in sort of a bad position and doesn't have flash up, or even if he does have flash up, he doesn't get the double flash out of Rift Walk and flash. Now that if you see him use it, you can come into lane and.
But that you guys are reading this. I think you're
Yeah.
you're interpreting
Yeah,
this wrong.
read the italics. Rift Walk has a
You're-
longer period of time before it resets its damage/mana cost stacks.
It's not the cooldown on the. It's not your ability
the
to move
cooldown on the
around
R.
with the ability. It's the
That is
mana
a
and
really-
everything that you're spending.
You're right. That's a really poorly worded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
patch
poorly
note.
worded in
It's
the patch.
it's worded complete. I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm going to clarify right now with a custom game just so.
Fix it.
No.
I mean, I'll read it right now. Each subsequent Rift Walk within the next 20 seconds costs double the mana and deals bonus damage, stacking up to 4 times. That was from the next 12 seconds and everything.
So you can't
the
stack it
idea
up
is
as
now
much.
you can't just you can't you have a much longer window where you're going to be expending considerable resources,
Okay.
All right, I'm looking
Well,
at
that's
it.
dealing
more
hurts.
but also dealing
Yeah.
more damage.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. The actual cooldown in 4.14 hit tonight, right?
Yeah.
Just so I know I'm right.
live.
All right.
It's live.
I got a 6.65 second cooldown on it.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's correct. It's the italics. That's
Okay.
what Dom and I clarified. So each subsequent Rift Walk within the next 20 seconds doubles the mana cost and deals an additional 40 magic damage per stack. Stacked up to 4 times. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
we
clarify.
just
Well,
Chira and I misread the patch notes.
It's
It
still
happens.
going to make it so you can't spam it because you're going to be running out of mana ridiculously fast if you do.
That's why I still think we're going to see more. We're going to see
Bruiser
more
Kassadin anyway.
Bruiser Kassadin out of
Either
it. where
way, it
it's
kind of
just,
works out to be the same way. It's just going to hit harder, use up more mana.
Well, yeah, no, you can't build him. If he has full AP, you're not getting that extra burst
Right.
every 12 seconds. You're getting the burst every 20 seconds now.
Right.
There. Well, I mean, in a team fight, you're going to continue to use it, but it's more of one of those like you're running away type of things, and you need that a little extra mana to either get over a wall or to kill somebody or whatever it is. And now you can't wait that 12 seconds out.
Use it for the mobility, not really the damage.
You got
That'll
it.
just be gravy.
Yes, and Kale a lot of these are bug fixes as we move through there. Kale's bug fixed. She
Tweaks.
Kale's temporarily due to a bug. Kale's temporarily receiving 2.2 attack speed per level, and now she's receiving 2.5. So she's back to where they want her to be, with more attack speed per level.
Do we know what the bug is that's caused? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they don't know what the bug is, but do we know like how this, how this was brought up, even to just be adjusted or what?
I have no idea. It'll be
no idea.
reverted
I
as
didn't-
soon as possible,
I
so
didn't
nothing really hit yet.
I didn't even hear that she had an.
Yeah, that's
I
why
didn't
I'm
notice
surprised
anything.
too. This is,
I've played a decent amount of Kale since then too, so
I mean, shows you the diligence they have going on with their balance team and everything. But yeah, I had no idea what's up.
Well, interesting changes to Kog'Maw. They're still looking to nerf him. They feel he's too much. Really, these look like lane bully changes. His base movement speed is now down to 325, and his living artillery bonus base magic damage to champions is at 100% from 125%. So
I don't
Yeah, it's
think
pretty
that,
big right there.
I think that movement speed change actually puts him in line with almost every other marksman. I don't think many of them were above 325. That class as a whole tends to be slower, or like on the slower end of champions, just because they're sitting so far back. Riot doesn't want them to have a lot of passive mobility. If they have mobility in their kit, that's one thing, but just be able to move faster is not
in line.
typically.
He's in line with Ashe now. Lucian is still 335. Ashe's 325 though, and so is Caitlyn. He's more in line
it's-
with the longer
it's a-
ranged AD carries.
She sort of is, but she's
Well,
not.
it's funny because once we saw that Q change come through, and plus the itemization changes, they've really started hitting Kog'Maw hard, and it made sense for him to have more move speed than he did before because he didn't have a skill shot, he didn't have the itemization to make him a bully early, and now that he does, you have to instead of tuning the items back, which tunes more people, it makes more sense to start tuning Kog'Maw.
Yeah, individually, and his Void Ooze looks cooler apparently. It's
Yeah,
closer.
it looks a lot better.
Is it more bubbly?
particle fix.
It looks like it belongs in the game. I mean that's just the reality of it. Right
Okay,
now,
yeah.
before this patch, it just looked like this kind of shit color green that got spread across the
Baby poop.
I mean, but that was it. Like it didn't even look like it belonged in the game, and now it actually looks, like it should be there.
Well,
Yeah, that's Kog'Maw.
Living artillery change. We didn't.
I know we
The
didn't really
living
talk about it.
artillery. That's the big one. 125 to 100% damage. Bonus base damage. Magic damage to champions.
I'm
125% to
assuming.
100%.
So that one I had thought about before, and I'm still confused as to
I
exactly
think
what
it
that
might
changes.
mean that in the past, like whenever it would do its damage to minions, it would do 100%, and they had the damage it did to players increase to 125%.
Yeah, it always did more damage
to players.
champions.
And now
there was
they're
a point
just
where it did,
changing
like
it.
200% damage. They just keep nerfing that. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's more of a nerf to AP cog more than anything else. But nobody's
Sure.
playing AP cog, so
It's just going to do the same amount to minions as it is champions now, rather than
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
bonus to champions.
Everything's the same. 100% extra base damage to champions. Actually, it's still extra damage. When you read it, it
Which-
says 100% extra base damage to champions.
which would be a bigger nerf to him if you didn't figure that most of his damage was coming from Blade of the Ruined King and Sheen procs.
No, it's the level 6 all in. It's those
Oh,
early
yeah.
this level 6, level 7 where if you're doing 25% more damage.
That's a good
the
point.
enemy-
I didn't think of it like that. That's a good point.
And
The
that's-
later the game goes, the less it really matters.
Well, the later a game goes, the more it's used for procs of your Sheen than it is
yeah,
used to kill
that's how I was
somebody.
thinking about it.
But you would also use it to snipe somebody off. Yes, you're right that it does hurt AP Cog quite a bit and probably completely nullifies AP Cog, but I can
I think
see
nobody
this.
was playing AP cog.
It's when you're in bottom lane, you don't expect all that magic damage to come out of an AD, and they've been moving a lot of that magic damage away too.
That's the weird part about this champion. I mean, him and Tristana, more than any other champions, like they have so much magic damage coming from their kits early in the game that transitions into, physical damage, and that's what makes it so hard to play against them early on because you're expecting a certain amount of physical damage coming into the lane, and then to have to deal with all of this damage you're not really geared for. It's kind of why playing against Leona is a bit more difficult because you have to adjust your runes and mastery. In theory, you should be adjusting your runes of masteries if you can. A lot of people can't.
Rumor has it the Gnar just got put in the store.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby. So, excuse the live stream. Whimsy getting a change. Tooltip fixed. So, it's just she's how she was. Sorry for the live stream, guys. Tooltip fixed to correctly state that polymorph duration is 1.25 to 2.25 seconds rather than 2.5 seconds. So, the tooltip has always been wrong, and we've been getting less time out of her than what we thought.
Which isn't that
Whoop-de-doo.
Yep.
Gnar is in the store.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, I'm
You can talk
logging in.
about him.
Server's busy. No, I want to play him right now while
Unlock.
we're on the podcast.
Unlock. Done. Got
Everyone's
him.
going to leave watching our stream to play Gnar now.
Dom just bought Nard and never play him because he always
Yep.
supports.
Yeah, you can hear me logging in. Anyway, guys, if you want to hear about Malachi and Morgana, we did touch on them, and we talked about them pretty much in depth on 185.
And nothing changed based on what we talked about. The numbers are all looking the same, and the context behind it is completely accurate.
Exactly the same. Yep.
So it's interesting. Orianna, base attack damage down to 41 from 47.
That's going to be really frustrating for Orianna mains.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't
Think
sound
think
big,
about how
but
much harder
that's
that
her
is
main
going to be to
focus.
last hit.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
You-
I mean
you'll
it's going to
get
be
used
harder to
that.
last hit. It's going to be I mean, the nice thing is if you're still auto attacking something a lot, you're getting the bonus out of your passive, but that's going to hurt your trading ability just a tiny bit.
Yeah, she gets that passive, but she's always had that. So
Right.
no matter how you look at it, her damage is still down 6 per auto attack. And
Right.
that is considerable for the first 7 levels.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah, it's going to hurt a lot of people who can't start Q or W, to be honest.
Like,
with
I
you.
think I would
Like,
wager
they can't
that's
last
the
hit with
reason
it.
competitively we don't see her. It's because they're so used to the way she was played that they need time apart from the champion just to like get to a point where they are like retuned to her new numbers and everything.
Who, Orianna? We don't see Orianna?
No, we see her a lot. I would if we don't see her going forward, I would say it's because they are having such a hard time last hitting with her because of this little numbers change.
I don't think they'll have that big of a time last hitting.
That
with
would be
her.
the only reason I can think of.
Sure. It's just, I think it's going to be one of those where it's going to take
passive.
it'll take you a laning phase to get used to last hitting with her early.
And that might be true.
It's just like when they changed runes, we didn't stop seeing certain top lane champions because we didn't have armor pen anymore, you know. Well, I'm not saying your point's invalid. I'm just
No. I mean, I think you're right because these are the players at the highest end of the spectrum and everything, and they should be able to adjust to little things like this without much difficulty. The reality is that she's always just going to be a good champion.
Yep.
She just brings so much useful elements to any team comp that she's always going to be a good. I mean, to a degree, Ari is in the same camp. It doesn't matter what they do to her. Ari always kind of like she'll fall away for a little bit, but comes back, and people are like, "Oh yeah, Ari actually isn't bad. We were annoyed with one change." But no, Ari's like always going to be a good champion.
right. Well, we can go ahead and move on from Orianna. There's just base damage, harder to harass with her in lane. You just have to get her passive up going to do that extra damage.
She's still going to be
She
an
was-
incredibly
she was
safe
great.
laner.
She was great against Cassidy and other melee-ish type champions because she just sit there and smack you in the face with her auto attacks and keep you down. So
I bitched about Rengar how many patches ago and why wasn't Thrill of the Hunt why didn't Thrill of the Hunt have a longer cooldown, and they finally did it. They finally made Thrill of the Hunt have a 150, 110, 70-second cooldown rather than
same at rank
120, 95, 70.
you know what? The big thing about it is its warning indicator gives you actual warning now instead of just saying, "Oh, look, you're dead." You got
I
an
can
exclamation
honestly
point in your head,
say-
so.
No.
I have never once seen that indicator in time for me to make a meaningful decision because of it.
In preparation for this patch, I was playing against Rengar. I was like, "Oh, this is a good chance." I knew I was sitting on a ward, and I hit my recall. I knew the Rengar was around, and sure enough, he sit there, and I saw the warning indicator. As soon as I saw it appear, I flashed, and he jumped on me. So it's just like, that really helps.
Yeah, you see the warning indicator out of bushes now, so if he's sitting in a bush, you still see that he's there.
And
Which
it's
is something-
further range.
It's
It's
for-
250 more range.
I don't care about that indicator. That's great. The majority of the players that play this game are not going to pay attention to it. It is the
Right.
cooldown that affects him the most, and hopefully this stops every NA player from ever playing Rengar again, because I bitched about it. He had a shorter cooldown than Nocturne and a longer length than Nocturne.
He was a better Nocturne, yeah.
I still have a gripe about the fact that there's even an indicator to begin with, just because how bad of a hunter are you if you're supposed to be a stealth cat and they know you're coming? Like,
Well, I mean, I get where you're coming
he's
from
supposed
there,
to be
but
super kitty.
Evelyn gets
Thematically,
the same treatment. so-
thematically, I hate it. And
You're right.
but I
you're
do.
right. Thematically, it's bad.
I do like how they have the bug-free kitty thing where they were talking about the bug fix if somebody leaps into a bush and like if they flash into a bush, he can't just immediately leap out of it to do damage or whatever. So they fixed that, especially with all the rage that Reddit had trying to find bugs to get Rengar banned so NA players can't play him for Worlds.
I didn't even
So
read that. That's
there is
funny.
basically Reddit has been like doing everything they can, at least for the League of Legends subreddit,
Really?
to try and get Rengar banned because everybody who plays him in NALCS fails miserably, and they
Right.
don't want them to do the same thing because they think that's how NA is going to throw their games against Korea.
That's not how
So
we're going to throw our games against
We're gonna
Korea.
throw our
We're
games
throw
by-
games because they're better at the game than we are.
Right. Because they know how to take a lead and push it to win. God. Well, okay, everybody, you can finally all take a sigh of relief. Head of Kazakhs now gives you the buff back. Gives you a buff like it did before if you kill him when you're both level 16. Rengar now has increased vision range while in a brush with the Head of Kazakhs.
Yay. He uses it like a lantern. Its eyeballs glowing.
I know, right? It would be so great if he held it in his hand like this with his like the entire time ran around the map.
I wish instead of an indicator, if he was sitting in a brush and he ulted, he threw the head at them, and that was the indicator.
No, that should be the bola.
Yeah, just throws Kazakh's head.
Where's the head?
Well, finally, Kazakhs nerfed. Hopefully, NA will never play him again.
Because of that.
Right. Syndra,
nerfed.
Unleash Power. There's just a bug fix. Not a big deal. Thresh,
Yeah.
Flay, fixed a bug. Not a big deal. Xerath. Pretty big change here. His R.
Actually, a bug fix.
Yeah. The delay between arcane barrages is now fixed at 0.6 seconds instead of scaling with cooldown reduction.
And part of this has to do with
Vladimir,
why he
yep.
was like not necessarily banned, but blocked out a few weeks ago in pro play. If you hit his ult in a certain way, you could actually just machine gun chain it and smack the same spot 3 times instantly. So
Right. I've noticed that. I've noticed how
Yep.
quickly
Yeah,
you can
that
cast it.
happened to me a couple times. I was like, I'm usually pretty good at about dodging that thing. What the hell's going on here?
So nice bug fixed. We haven't really seen a lot of Xerath lately, have
Not
we?
really a bug fix.
Well, he was banned.
Has
Like
he been...
he was removed from play.
yeah, he was.
Oh, is
it
that
was
what it
yeah.
was?
Yeah, it was a nerf fix, and it was because of that machine gun. It went from being Xerath supposed to be a semi-automatic alt chucking champion, and he was fully automatic if you wanted him to be. So
I feel like DeClaude has flashbacks when he plays against Xerath.
Yeah, PTSD.
every time.
He screams about artillery. He's in the foxhole. They're raining down barrages.
I hear whistling overhead, and I hold my ears and start rocking back and forth.
The MS starts kicking in. Your hand cripples up. Oh god! Sounds like you're
Yeah.
all of a mess over there, DeClaude.
Yeah.
Well,
Fucking
all right.
Xerath. I also hate playing against him, so that alone gives me PTSD. Fucking Xerath.
Well, I'm gonna hate playing against Zed from now on because I think this is the biggest change to come out of this entire
It's a
patch.
big deal.
This is okay. R Death Mark.
Yeah.
When Zed uses Death Mark on a target, he
Goes in front
dashes
now.
behind them. Yeah, you screwed me up. He dashes behind them now rather than in front of them. And Zed now ignores unit collision while Death Mark is active.
So now he gets on the other side of you and can keep following you regardless of what's around you.
He can. Yeah. If you don't understand the implications, I cannot talk tonight. I'm not drunk. That's the problem.
I like the
Talk
word
tonight.
implication. 'cause it's not
Implications
real.
of this. Just
too.
think about being in mid lane and having a Zed Death Mark onto you, and you're in the middle of the creeps, and now he can follow you through the creeps, auto attacking you while you are stacking damage, or while you're getting damage stacked on your Death Mark.
Or-
just let that sink in. Hold on, let that sink in. Is that sunk in?
Hold on.
And now it pops.
Yeah.
And
Now, like I said last episode, get exhausted when you're facing Zed, please.
But even if he ults you, he blows you up, and you think that you might be able to kill him or something before that little application from his ult pops and murders you. He's just gonna walk right through the minions, back out of lane, like slow walk, and just like
walk
face
away from the
over his shoulder,
explosion.
laughing at you.
He's not gonna look at it. Cool guys don't look at it.
Cool guys don't look at death mark explosions.
Gonna leave you in a giant blood.
I
bowl
like
with-
this change on Zed, actually. I know it's a pain in the ass type of change for some players, but it makes the good Zed players, as we've seen in Korea and other regions, Zed has been making a slow comeback with some players. Like they're proving that you can still play Assassins by playing Zed, so this makes those players even better at the champion. And I'm okay with that. Like, I like little changes to champions that don't affect the vast majority of players in League, but the people who are really good at them can...
It gives it just
exploit
enough
it.
oomph for them to do some crazy stuff with. So
Yeah. And it's going to be great for the jungle, too, because there's a lot of jungle fights where you might have creeps running in between you, or, you have to walk through Dragon because you're standing behind Dragon because you W'd over the wall, and now a team fight broke out. Now you can just walk through Dragon rather than walking around, and that 0.1 or 0.2 seconds you save could mean life or death.
Yep. It's the little things when you're at that higher level of play anyway.
life
so.
or death. I mean, it could mean a kill or not, and a kill on a champion like that is huge, particularly early.
If you watch the patch 1.14 discussion video, the 13-minute one with Riot is putting, Zion Spartan's there, and he actually made a little off mention about possibly seeing Zed now in competitive play. He's starting to come back a little bit more, and with this patch,
Sure is.
foresees it. So
Kind of
And I agree with
surprised Zed players don't give a look to sort of the Divine as a later pickup item, just to cast Death Mark, activate that item, and get 3 immediate critical strikes on somebody, and then just get the fuck out of dodge.
I think most
and just
players,
like somebody will die.
Most players that dive in aren't getting off more than like 1, maybe
No, but
2
that's-
autos, so...
No, that's why you get sort of the Divine, because if you activate it, it gives you plus 100% attack speed and 100% critical strike chance. So
And
like the
with-
point is, basically in a split second, you can get 3 critical strikes off.
Well, let's be
On
honest,
a-
Dom. Does he really need it?
I don't know.
Well, he did
Murder-
not need it.
When you have a Blade of the Ruin King, what does he get now? Blade of the Ruin King, Brutalizer, Last Whisper, maybe Tiamat's sometimes. I don't know. Like he can
Get it instead of Blade of the Ruin King.
No way. That active on Blade of the Ruin King adding extra damage? Fuck
The
that.
active on Tiamat's doing the extra damage.
Yeah.
Allowing
Like,
to push
get the
waves?
Tiamat.
Yeah, the active is just too damn good at Blade of the Ruin King.
Dom,
Though
I like
I will
what you're
say-
thinking.
His
Go ahead
wave
and-
push without time mats is so good. He doesn't.
Yeah,
need
he doesn't.
it.
He doesn't really pick up Tiamat's. I was just
I mean,
thinking of it.
all right, look at it like this:
that he
get
might
Blade of
pick
the
up.
Rune King and Tiamat's, and
You know
then
what?
ult, and then bam, you just did all the damage.
I was thinking Blade of the Ruin King Yumu's. That's what I was
Okay.
thinking of because that's
Okay.
what he's going to
Yeah.
get for the attack speed.
They get you almost, but
But all right, so I'm gonna move on down here. I like this. So there's a player behavior change, and they have introduced in this patch the suggested players. I'm gonna go ahead and read it. We're introducing suggested players to help fill out pre-made lobbies. The initial list includes players from your recent victories as well as pre-mades you queued together with in your last match, but over time will be expanded to include groups like honorable players, potential friends, and friends of friends. I like that. I like that a lot. Because when you get in there, it says hosts and captains of all matchmaking queues will now see a list of suggested players they can invite to fill out pre-made groups. And if I can get in there and I find a really good jungle, top, mid, whatever it is, and I'm playing with 4 people, which seems to happen quite a bit when I'm playing this game, being able to add somebody who did well in the last game is it makes me want to continue
cool, yeah.
playing the game. Like
it's
with
a
4
nice little
people.
change.
Without having to pollute up your friends list.
Right. Especially late
Well-
at night or in middle of the day on a Saturday when nobody's online and you're still playing, you can
And-
now grab those other good players.
Let's say that you were in a solo queue game and it was a good player, and bam, you didn't add him or something like that. There you go.
It's pre-made lobbies only.
I mean, that's fine. You can do the pre-made lobby and invite them later.
You gotta add to your friends list. Now you can find them.
Make new friends, guys.
Right.
Get the most out of your suggested player list.
From the next
No.
point here that I do want to talk about too, does anyone else have anything to say about suggested players?
no.
If there's any of our listeners out there who have a chat restriction, can you write in and let us know what it's like playing with a chat restriction and what you did to get it? Like, I understand.
You don't have one.
Yeah, I'm really, really surprised.
I
you
don't even
have one.
type that often in the game. Like,
And when you do,
Yeah,
it's
but when
something
you do, it's-
terrible.
It's cancerous.
okay, 1 out of every
cancerous.
15 matches might be cancerous. Let's be honest here. Like, I really do bite my tongue quite a bit. Fuck you guys. You're
There
wrong.
we go. There we go. That's the Adam we know.
But
There he is.
I want to
That's
hear
the chat band Adam we know.
I'm out of beer. I want to hear. If there's somebody out there, any of you guys listeners who are humble enough to say yes, I deserve this chat ban, yada yada, will you write into feedback at Trinity Force Podcast and kind of give us an account of how your game has been played, why you got there, and what you're doing to change it, if anything? Because I'm curious to hear your point of view, and I kind of want to talk. I just want. I will turn this into something, but if you want to write down and tell us, email us feedback at trinityforcepodcast.com.
And don't be embarrassed. I know at least 2 people on my friends list have chat restrictions, so it happens.
Well, they're all a bunch of idiots. Oh,
So
by the way, custom.
He's not even defending his friends. Like, no, that's
Fun thing here that doesn't affect many people, but custom lobby spectating has been increased spectators to 4.
Oh, that's a nice little change.
It is nice.
For people who like to watch.
Custom lobby spectating, it's still behind 3 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but
It's
you get
neat,
4
but people can
in
just
there.
right-click on your game, so...
Right, but now you can have 4 people in there and you can do some awesome stuff with it. I know there's times where I want to do a tri-cast and get all 4 people in there, and at the same time make sure we can move everything around and whatnot.
And now it's doable.
But other than bug fixes and Gnar and da-da-da, that's your patch 4.14. Sorry that this patch notes were very boring. You could blame Riot and not the Trinity Force Podcast.
We can talk about Gnar for the last 15 minutes because he is officially released.
Well, Gnar is a champion.
I'm playing him right now, actually, and you know what? His hyper, his W, in his mini Gnar form, it's like a Diana ult and a Sivir passive. I'm sorry, a Diana passive and a Sivir passive combined.
Yeah, apparently it does just
She can chase
chunks
and stick
tons of
to you,
damage.
and it does a lot of damage on the 3rd hit. It's pretty sweet. And Mega Gnar is just a beast. His W stuns, that little line stun, it's just... I'm beating the shit out of this Nuna bot right now.
As you
There's
continue to
nothing he can
click
do.
and pick that up, I guess we're going to go ahead and move on. We have 15 minutes left in this podcast, and we can answer a couple listener questions to round it all out, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
DeClodge just cashed out. He's going to play Gnar.
Didn't we answer this question
I
about
cashed
Sheen?
out. I can
just forgot.
multitask.
Yes, we did.
My bad. My B.
I didn't add it in the last notes. All right. Black Magic writes in, some claim that Riot nerfed lifesteal and buffed attack speed because they want people to die more, making it more fun to watch. This change doesn't seem that bad, but do you think Riot will make more choices in the future to get viewers instead of what's right for the game? Yeah, Dom. Go ahead, Dom.
No. I think it's
Is that admittedly the case, or is he just speculating?
Speculating.
It's speculation. I mean, there are a lot of people out there speculating that Riot is doing certain things to make the game more spectator friendly. Yeah. And I mean, you could you can argue that point and everything, and it does make sense. But Riot is a pretty player focused company, and they might be able to make a few changes like that and everything, but if they keep doing that over the long term and just do things that make the game more friendly to spectators and everything, then people are going to stop playing their game, which means they're going to stop spending money on skins and champions and everything, and then that makes the sustainability of League of Legends as an esport a lot harder to maintain because it's a free-to-play game. It's not like it's
Right.
StarCraft or something where people have to pay the upfront cost to begin with.
Well, I think it's hilarious that people would speculate that that change would make people die more often because it's pretty much been shown that people don't die more often now. We see longer games. Pro games are now going to 35 minutes and 40 minutes, and the kill totals are still the same as they were, when we had 25-minute games. It's just, there's nothing that's changed in the game. It's player skill is getting better over the time, and players are adapting better. It's the same thing we see. What was I thinking about? World of Warcraft and raiding. People would bitch that old world raids are better than new world raids, but it's really, they have to keep coming up with crazy mechanics. Well, that's because players continue to get better over time.
And that's because you don't want to see the same mechanic over and over again either.
Nerfing lifesteal and buffing attack speed almost balances out.
Yeah.
I mean, Riot has long been a company that applied imperfect balance rather than perfect balance. They will adjust certain levers just to see how that affects the rest of the game and everything. And then they will balance from there. And then if they want it to go in a different direction, they will, pull some different levers and see how the game falls up from there. And by virtue of that, the game ends up staying fresh despite being, 3-4 years old, whatever, or 4 years old at this point, plus beta. And despite champions having been around for a really, really long time, they still end up being very playable. Very, just as good as the new champions that get released and everything. Sometimes you just need to wait a certain amount of time before that champion becomes really good or becomes, at the top tier again. And other times you need people to look at a champion and play him or her or it in an unconventional way, such as top lane Alistar.
Right.
And that's, again, those top lane Alistars and stuff comes from players getting better. The meta has changed. We saw 4v1 split pushing and other such changes because players got better at this game. They understood they understood stats. They broke the meta down. They broke the changes down. And as we continue to play, people are going to make these changes. And Riot is going to have to respond to some of them from a spectator aspect. Like the 4v1s, they weren't fun to watch, and they weren't fun to play against, and they weren't fun to play. And when you look at you have 3 of those, you have to make a change to that so that it can still be viable, but you don't do it every game.
It was cool to see those once, twice. I'll go so far as to say 8 times. It was cool to see that strategy happen, and then it sucked. Then it got really boring to watch it because A, you knew everybody was going to do it, and B, it meant there was going to be no meaningful spectator action for the first 12, 15 minutes of the game.
Right. Yeah, so I agree with you with the imperfect balance. I think that's the perfect way to start balancing a game. There's always going to be powerful champions. There's always going to be mediocre, and there's always going to be sucky champions.
Well,
you just have to try to make more champions in between than you do suck.
That's the thing. There's so many champions as it is anyway. You're never going to hit that point where every single one is going to be at an equal level to all the others. It's just not feasible. So they're doing a good job, regardless of whoever wants to give them, criticism.
I said it a long time ago. Though I'm glad that Ghostcrawler came into this podcast, came into the Riot and hasn't made sweeping changes and done crazy things. It wasn't his fault when he was working for Blizzard, but do you remember when people were screaming about Ghostcrawler coming on to Riot and he's going to make Frost mages like Lysandra overpowered? And they don't have... Riot and Blizzard have 2 very different type of patching styles. I really like the way Riot looks at how patching works.
As fun as that is too, you can't put all the blame for balance on one person either.
Yeah, he's the face and he is happy to play that role if it means the rest of the people on his team don't have to take all the shit and everything, because he has so much experience doing it that he doesn't give a damn.
Right. Good on him for having the mental fortitude to be able to put up with that shit. That's awesome. Yeah, it's incredible.
The reality is there are so many people contributing to these little changes and everything. Just the people testing it, the people coming up, assessing what actually... Sotir plays a role in that and everything.
Yep. And there's
just so many people playing this, and you
really
can't...
boring. I remember I was talking to him one day, and he was doing a LeBlanc blug, blug. I cannot talk. He was doing a LeBlanc... He was jumping over the wall, over Wraith Wall, because something was happening. I don't know. He didn't tell me what it was. He was like, "Yeah, I was just testing a bug." But jumping, he was just Wing continuously over and back and forth over the Wraith Wall because someone had reported a bug and he had to check it out. So you have to remember there's people out there doing it. But really, my whole point of that whole Ghostcrawler thing was that Riot is doing a fantastic job of continuously patching this game. We don't have 2 months in between patches. We have 3 weeks. And the game is continually evolving, and it's almost never a giant sweeping change of how everything is played.
And Blackmagic, if Riot identifies something that makes spectating better and is also right for the game, they will definitely implement it. The give and take that you're asking about, I don't, like Adam was saying before, it's just bad business to sacrifice the game for something that's more fun to watch.
Good question, Blackmagic. We like the ones that make us talk and think a little bit about it. You know what? I might try to get... They're like, Ghostcrawler confirmed! I will try to get Ghostcrawler on this podcast. I know he listens. Ghostcrawler, if you're out there...
Listen.
Ghostcrawler, if you're out there listening, I'm going to be messaging you.
We love you.
Grappler writes, how do you properly manage the lane in CS correctly? You often hear higher ELO players speaking how important CSing is for improving ELO, but they rarely discuss how exactly to go about attacking the minions. How do you deal with harass while still attaining 70+ CS by 10 minutes?
Watch my laning basics video. I break it down a little bit for you.
Don't talk to me about this because I can't do it.
Well, I like what Adam suggested many episodes ago. If you want to practice it, go into a custom game, pick a champion like Morgana with a wet noodle, and try to last hit when the minion's health is as low as possible. And by 10 minutes, write down your score, restart the game, try again, see if you can beat it.
You don't even have to go with Morgana. Just go with the champion that you're most interested in playing.
That's a better idea because then you'll get used to that champion. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, the point he meant behind the low damage ones is if you can do it with them, then you can do it with your favorite champion, no problem.
And frankly, it's as far as that goes, like, tone down your masteries. Take away the masteries that are going to give you that extra little bit of HP, so you really
runes.
No runes, no masteries.
Like, I mean, you think those things aren't making a meaningful impact, but they really, really are.
It's that if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball idea. You know, it's harder in practice than.
Make a Smurf account.
It'll be easy.
I know you guys hate it when we say this, but it really is practice. A lot of the stuff in this game, there is no secret magic formula for making yourself instantly better at doing one thing. You have to go
playing the game to the point where you can do things perfectly instantly.
Right, because you understand that Olaf's axe under tower will chunk out, this much life, and this much is whatever much it is.
And you know from experience, like you can read the numbers all you want, but those end up being meaningless when you get into the game because every enemy has different armor. You may not have leveled up your abilities the same way for reason. Like you're just going to need to know based on the situations at hand.
But I would, if you also want to work on this, go and take that same champion into whatever lane it is and continually practice, but have one goal in mind when you go in there. I'm taking Vayne down here because I want to learn to CS and only CS is Vayne. That's a lot harder to do in the 2v2. So, but if that's what you want to do, and that's what you want to do, you want to have that ADCS, you don't want to trade, you go in with a support that you know, and you say, support, I am only farming, we are not trading. I'm gonna look at you, Dom. Support!
Please don't be aggressive.
Like you have ever gone into a lane and not been aggressive. Like you would tell me that, and then you would turn around and get angry at me for not being aggressive.
Dom, why aren't you binding? Dom, we're supposed to be attacking right now.
You said no! Read my mind, damn it, Dom!
Now that you bring that up, I have a feeling like I've been in a lane as Soraka or something with Adam, and we were just super aggressive anyway. Like, just like stupid.
Don't care.
And shouldn't have been.
No, he doesn't give
Wait,
a
I got a point to make. Since the minions, they had a little bit of a. They're going to have no,
Damn it. Okay.
No fun coming. Don't worry about it. They're going to have a visual update with their auto attacks and how you can see like the mages in the back line. You can see the melee winding up for their attacks. And they change them intermittently. It's like, God damn it, I messed up my CS because they all of a sudden started attacking this minion over here. So pay attention to those auto attack animations. They're different colors for the different sides. And watch how many are going, I see these two mage minions are attacking this guy, but only one's attacking him. Even though he has lower life, the two attacking this one are going to bring him down first. So I need to
really good
see him to last hit first. So, and you just get used to seeing that. So watch the auto attacks while you're watching the minion bars and while you're watching the mini map for your awareness. Hopefully your support helps you with that if you're in 80 carry position, but there's a lot you have to watch. And if you're concentrating mainly on CSing, do this first because it will become muscle memory. You'll get used to it. You'll recognize it. You'll see it. Something will click in your head when you see the minion health bar at a certain amount and you'll attack it. And then you'll know it'll die, and you'll get the gold. So.
There's such a big piece of this, too, that people don't realize that a lot of these people they consider high elo players since they're just getting in the game. They've been playing the game for like 4 years. Yeah. They have tons of experience doing this. It's not like they learned how to do this overnight.
It's also, not all high elo players are actually good at CSing and everything. Right. They might just be really good at the rest of the game, and that they just like fudge through the early parts where they're bad at it.
Right. Yeah. But just practice makes perfect, like we've been saying. So you'll get used to recognizing it. Just watch those health bars and watch the minion auto attacks. See if that'll help you. If you pay attention to that and you weren't paying attention to it before. So.
All right. Well, Gorath, I'm going to answer your question next, and then we're going to end the podcast. I think we're going to talk. So you know, Gnar Monday, more listener questions. We are going to that part of the season where we're going to need lots and lots and lots of your listener questions. So keep sending them in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they're done with patch.
Right. Gorath writes in, how do you come back from a failed invade or getting invaded early and dying in your jungle, losing one or both of your buffs? Well, if a wrecker was on this podcast, I'd ask him how to do that.
Because it always happens.
Lose the first 4 of your buffs and still win the game. You know how you do it? You play conservatively, and you let the other team screw up. That's really what it is. You have to, if it depends what position you are. I'm assuming he means jungle. So you're a jungle and you've lost one of your buffs. Maybe someone has died in a jungle invade and you're still alive, or vice versa. At that point, whoever died or lost or whatever it is, that person or people have to play conservatively.
You suck it up and acknowledge that you can't change what happened. You know, they stole your buff. You can't do anything about
There's
that.
no going back in time.
You have to play the game from that point on without that buff. You can bitch about it all you want, but that's not going to change a goddamn thing. So
Buy mana potions. Buy health
You know what?
potions.
Know this. Know that the enemy now feels more comfortable coming into your jungle. So buy more wards and ward your jungle defensively. So
and
that'll give
I've said
information
that I don't
to
know
other lanes
how
to
many
go.
times. Like if they,
This is Dom's
if
main
you
thing.
know they're invading your jungle, like past the original or past the level 1 buffs and everything, if your jungler keeps dying in your jungle and everything, ward up and punish that fucker for coming where for
He's
going
way
where he
over-
doesn't belong. Like it's not a difficult thing to do. It's a very minimal expense in the grand scheme of things to get the buffs that the enemy jungler probably has and the kill gold that the jungler probably has from
I was
the,
about to
killing
say,
your jungler.
Just
I mean,
doing that, if you're able to turn a kill around, can mean so much later on.
that's a
like,
low risk, high reward investment.
I don't think we talk enough about potions, though. Buying potions as a jungler early is also very advantageous. If you've lost blue and you're mana dependent, buying 1 mana potion in your first back, spending that extra 35 gold is going to help you get to that jungle a little more quickly. And if you've lost the buff, as long as you have a red buff, I mean, you can do it with blue. As long as you have 1 buff, you can probably gank a lane. Like, red is better for ganking, but you can do it with blue because you have reduced cooldown reduction.
You'll be
Or you have
okay.
increased cooldown reduction. You have reduced cooldowns. You'll be okay to go in. It just depends what champion you are and how you're playing.
And you need to know that their jungler isn't going to show up and wipe the floor with both of you.
Right. So it's having the awareness and having, like Dom said, you just have to realize that you fucked up.
You might not
And
have
say
even
I
fucked up.
fucked
They
up.
might have just like had a really good strategy, and you were the victim of it.
Oh, no,
you know?
you fucked up. You didn't
That's-
ward early. You didn't drop that red ward at 1 minute into the game. You fucked up, okay? Now that this happened.
Warn your other lanes. Let them know. Look, you know they're gonna have better jungle presence, so play more defensively. Try not to push. You know, because nothing worse than you're already down. Then all of a sudden, the other lanes start getting their asses kicked because the jungler has your buffs and he's jumping around in the lanes while you're sitting trying to catch up, and that game just gets worse and worse and worse. So
the
other
very
players will be on the
worst
same page.
thing you can do is give up just because you lost an early buff or something. Like that is
were
not
down.
the end of the
We
world.
were down gold, like 5,000, 3,000 gold at one point in the game until 38 minutes into the game.
This is,
38 minutes, and we
That's-
didn't give up.
That isn't the
sad
first
part,
time
this
we've
is
been
not-
in that situation
this
either.
is kind of a routine situation for us and everything. Like, I mean, part of it's because when we play with Wrecker, he likes to do particularly trolly things out of whatever position he's in, and so we're left dealing with that for a little while. But irrespective of that, we often struggle in the early goings and just put it together the later the game goes.
Good shot calling, good pinging, good screaming at each other.
Yeah, like
Realizing
we all
that
get,
if
we
we
all
keep
get so
screwing
angry
up-
at each other that we actually click in and then we're focused and firing on all cylinders and hey, the machine works now.
Part of it might also be the fact that we're at that point where everybody's screwed up and we don't want to embarrass ourselves any further, so we just
Maybe
man
it's a
up
case
and
where
wait.
we were all so drunk when the game started and then the adrenaline
Anger
and
sobered us.
anger sobered us up. Now we're playing like the way we're supposed to.
Oh, man. I've definitely done that before. I've also done
So
that
don't
when
give
I'm
up.
pulled over, but
Who's this? Gorath? Yeah, Gorath. Don't give up. And
Never give up, never
buy some
surrender. Like
pots and
Vlad
wards.
always says.
all right, guys. I think that is it for listener questions this episode. I hope we answered everything you had. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it was an interesting one because the patch notes that Riot gave us were not up to their normal par, but we tried our best to work through them. Join us again Monday. Hopefully we can get that 1v1 going. LCS Rundown is doing a fantastic job as well. Don't forget to go check them out every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. They went over to Europe. They're going to do NA and more Europe this next week, and then I don't know. There's just so much stuff.
the other
Check
playoff
out
missions.
Oslo. Check out
Oslo.
Oslo. Now their
Oslo.
boys are in the scene now. So
Right.
after today, no spoiler.
Did the Oceanic make it through? Spoiler alert.
Legacy.
All
Spoiler
right.
alert.
Wait, are they in the World Playoffs then?
Yep.
Oh, I need to go add that to Trello. Okay.
Hashtag too easy.
All right, guys. That is it for episode 186 of the Trinity Force Podcast. We will see you all next week.
Good night.
Good night.